A man with no friends or a very small circle is a very, very secure man. In life, especially as we grow older, we often hear people equate the size of one's social circle with success or happiness. But for those who've walked life's long and winding roads, we know this isn't necessarily true. A man with few friends, or even no friends at all, is not a man to be pitied. Quite the contrary. He's a man who has found something far greater: peace, security, and a deep sense of self-worth. As we age, the noise of the world begins to quiet down, and we are left with what truly matters. Many of us have learned that life isn't about how many people know our name or how crowded our social calendar is. It's about how well we know ourselves. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss an update. 1. The quiet power of solitude. Solitude often carries a misunderstood weight in society, as though being alone equates to being lonely. But as we walk further into the later stages of life, solitude reveals its true face, not as an absence of connection, but as a presence of clarity, strength, and self-discovery. For the man who has learned to embrace solitude, there lies a quiet power, a deep well of resilience that those constantly surrounded by noise may never know. The world is quick to dismiss solitude as a problem to be solved, something that needs filling with distractions or company. Yet, as we age, we begin to see the beauty in silence, the richness in moments spent with no one but ourselves. A secure man, one who walks this life with intention and purpose, does not avoid solitude. He embraces it, not because he shuns companionship, but because he understands the value of his own company. In the stillness, we hear what the busy world drowns out: our own thoughts, unfiltered and unmasked. This quiet is not for the faint of heart. To sit alone with yourself means facing your truths, the victories and regrets, the laughter and tears, the hopes that came alive and those that didn't. It takes courage to sit in that space and accept all that you've been, all that you are, but from that courage springs peace, a peace that only a man who has faced his own depths can know. For those of us in our later years, solitude becomes a wise teacher. It reminds us of what truly matters. It isn't the fleeting accolades or the applause of others. It's the moments of integrity, the times we stayed true to our principles, even when it was hard. In the silence, we reflect on the paths we've walked, the people we've loved, and the lessons we've learned. Solitude allows us to make sense of it all, to find gratitude for the life we've been given. Some might see a man alone and assume he's lost something or someone, but they miss the truth. A man at peace in his solitude has found something that many never do: himself. He has learned that he doesn't need a crowd to validate his worth or a busy social life to prove his significance. He knows that his value is not tied to others' opinions, but rooted deeply in who he is and the life he has chosen to live. In these quieter years, when the noise of the world begins to fade, we are gifted with time to reflect, to be present, to simply be. Solitude is not a punishment. It is a privilege, a sanctuary where we can reconnect with our spirit, find joy in simple things, and align ourselves with the truths we've carried through life. The man who understands this doesn't fear solitude. He treasures it, knowing that it holds the key to a strength and clarity that can't be shaken. Let us not mistake the quiet for emptiness. For those who embrace solitude, it is anything but empty. It is a rich and fertile ground where we come to know ourselves more fully, to hear the echoes of the lives we've touched, and to take pride in the legacy we're leaving behind. The quiet power of solitude is a gift, a rare and profound source of strength that grows with time and reflection. It is the foundation of a truly secure man, one who walks his path with peace, purpose, and unwavering self-respect. 2. Knowing your worth without validation. There comes a time in life when you realize that the worth of a man cannot be measured by the opinions of others. It is not found in applause, approval, or the fleeting praise of the crowd. True worth is something deeper, quieter, a treasure buried within that only you can uncover. A man who knows his worth without the need for validation is a man who has built his foundation on something unshakable, his own character. In a world that often screams for recognition, where people measure success by how many follow their lead or speak their name, the secure man stands apart. He is not swayed by the currents of popularity or the need to fit into someone else's expectations. His sense of value does not come from outside, it has been forged within. This understanding is not built overnight. It comes from years of living, of stumbling, of getting back up, and of realizing that the only approval that truly matters is the one he grants himself. For older adults, this truth resonates more profoundly. As the years pass, we begin to see the illusions of external validation for what they are: temporary, unreliable, and ultimately hollow. What good is the praise of others if it comes at the cost of your authenticity? What meaning does approval hold if it is rooted in superficiality? The secure man, wise in his years, has learned that his value is not a negotiation. It is not something to be given or taken by anyone else. When you've lived through decades of experiences, the noise of the world begins to fade, and what remains is the quiet truth of who you are. You no longer need others to tell you what you are capable of because you've proven it to yourself time and again. You've walked through storms, made choices in the face of uncertainty, and emerged stronger on the other side. The secure man carries these truths with him, and they become his compass. They guide him not toward approval, but toward integrity, not toward popularity, but toward purpose. Knowing your worth without validation is not about shutting others out or dismissing relationships. It's about understanding that your worth exists independently of those connections. Relationships, when genuine, enhance life, but they are not the source of your value. The secure man knows that his worth is rooted in the life he has lived, in his principles, his sacrifices, and his unwavering commitment to what he believes is right. He does not seek out validation because he does not need it. He lives with a quiet confidence that radiates from within, a confidence earned through the trials and triumphs of his journey. There is a peace that comes with this kind of self-assurance, a calmness that is hard to describe but impossible to miss. When a man no longer looks outward for his sense of self, he becomes unshakable. Criticism rolls off him like water off a stone. Praise, while appreciated, does not define him. He knows who he is, and that knowledge is enough. For older adults, this understanding is liberating. It frees you from the exhausting chase for recognition and allows you to focus on what truly matters, living a life that feels honest and fulfilling. The beauty of this inner worth is that it grows with time. Each challenge faced, each lesson learned, and each act of courage strengthens it. By the time you've reached your later years, you no longer need to prove yourself to anyone. You've seen enough, endured enough, and accomplished enough to know that your value cannot be measured by the opinions of others. It is measured by the quiet moments of self-respect, by the pride you feel in the person you've become, and by the legacy you're building, not for others, but for yourself. A man who knows his worth without validation is a rare and powerful force. He doesn't need to shout his achievements from the rooftops or seek affirmation from those around him. He walks through life with his head held high, not out of arrogance, but because he understands the profound truth of his own value. This is the kind of strength that comes with age, with wisdom, and with the deep understanding that a man's worth is defined not by how others see him, but by how he sees himself. 3. Selectivity in relationships. As the years pass, life teaches us that not all relationships are created equal. When you've lived long enough, You come to understand that who you allow into your life profoundly impacts your peace, your energy, and your sense of self. A man who is secure in himself does not seek validation through the number of relationships he maintains. Instead, he values quality over quantity, knowing that true connections are rare and worth protecting. Being selective in relationships isn't about arrogance or closing oneself off to the world. It's about wisdom born from experience. By the time you've reached your later years, you've seen the effects of the wrong relationships. You've encountered people who drained your energy, disrespected your boundaries, or brought unnecessary drama into your life. You've also experienced the beauty of authentic companionship, the kind that uplifts, enriches, and respects who you are at your core. The secure man understands that not every relationship is worth the investment of his time and energy. Time, after all, becomes more precious with each passing year. The friendships and connections he nurtures are those that align with his values and contribute positively to his life. He's not afraid to let go of relationships that no longer serve him. This isn't done out of bitterness or anger, but out of respect for his own peace. There is a certain freedom in realizing that you don't need to please everyone or hold on to every connection simply because of history or convenience. For older adults, this lesson resonates deeply. We understand that our energy is finite and that it's okay, even necessary, to prioritize the people who genuinely matter. A secure man embraces this truth and carefully chooses the relationships that align with his principles, his goals, and his sense of purpose. This selectivity doesn't mean a man is incapable of deep connection. In fact, it's quite the opposite. By narrowing his circle, he creates space for relationships that are meaningful, enriching, and genuine. He invests in those who respect his boundaries, share his values, and bring positivity into his life. These relationships may be few, but they are profound. They are built on trust, mutual respect, and a shared understanding of what it means to truly support one another. In our later years, we often reflect on the friendships we've had and the people who've come and gone from our lives. It becomes clear that not all connections are meant to last forever. Some people are with us for only a season, while others stand the test of time. The secure man honors the lessons learned from every relationship, but he is not afraid to move forward when the time comes. He understands that letting go is not a loss. It's a step toward preserving his own well-being and creating space for what truly matters. This wisdom about relationships is perhaps one of the greatest gifts of age. It allows us to prioritize our peace without guilt and to appreciate the people who remain by our side. The secure man cherishes his small circle, not because it defines him, but because it enriches his life. These are the people who truly see him, who respect his journey, and who add depth to his days. They are not just companions, but kindred spirits who share his values and understand his heart. There is a quiet strength in being selective about the company you keep. It reflects a deep understanding of your own worth and a commitment to living authentically. The secure man knows that the size of his circle doesn't matter. It's the quality of the connections within it that counts. He does not fear solitude because he knows his life is full of meaning, whether shared with a few or experienced alone. In the end, being selective in relationships is an act of self-respect. It's a way of honoring the life you've built and the person you've become. The secure man walks this path with confidence, knowing that the relationships he chooses are not just about filling space, but about enriching his soul. This discernment, this clarity, is a reflection of the wisdom that comes with age, a wisdom that allows him to live his life with purpose, peace, and integrity. 4. Embracing solitude as a teacher. Solitude, when approached with an open heart, becomes one of life's greatest teachers. It is in the quiet moments, away from the chatter and distractions of the world, that a man comes to truly know himself. For the man who embraces solitude, it offers lessons that no crowd or conversation could ever provide. It becomes a mirror, reflecting not only who he is, but also who he has the potential to become. For many, solitude is a daunting prospect. It strips away the noise, the roles we play, and the masks we wear. What remains is raw, unfiltered truth. And while some may avoid this for fear of what they might find, the secure man walks into that silence willingly. He understands that to grow, he must confront his fears, acknowledge his mistakes, and accept himself fully, not just for his accomplishments, but for his imperfections as well. And as we grow older, solitude takes on a new significance. It becomes a space not just for reflection, but for healing. Life, with all its joys and sorrows, leaves its marks on us. The losses we endure, the roads we didn't take, and the memories we carry, they all settle quietly within us. Solitude gives us the time and space to unpack these emotions, to sit with them, and to make peace with the chapters of our lives that are now behind us. In solitude, a man begins to see the threads that weave through his life. He recalls moments of courage, times of failure, and the love he's given and received. He connects the dots between the choices he made and the man he has become. This understanding is not something that can be rushed or found in the company of others. It comes slowly, gently, in the quiet hours when he is alone with his thoughts. But solitude is not just about looking back, it is also about grounding oneself in the present. In a world that often pulls us in countless directions, being alone offers clarity. It reminds us to breathe, to listen to our own heartbeat, and to feel the weight of the moment we are in. For the secure man, this stillness is not something to endure, it is something to cherish. It is a reminder that life's richness is not always found in doing, but in simply being. The lessons of solitude also extend to how we prepare for the future. As we age, the road ahead may seem uncertain, and the realities of growing older can feel overwhelming. But solitude provides the strength to face these challenges with grace. It teaches us that we are resilient, that we have survived so much already, and that we possess the inner resources to navigate what lies ahead. To embrace solitude is to find freedom in it. It is to see that being alone does not mean being lonely. Instead, it is an opportunity to cultivate a deeper connection with oneself. It is a space where we can dream, reflect, and grow. For the secure man, solitude is not an absence but a fullness, a rich, nurturing environment where he can continue to evolve. This doesn't mean that the secure man rejects companionship or shuns relationships. Quite the opposite. Solitude gives him the clarity to engage with others more meaningfully. By knowing himself deeply, he is better equipped to connect with others authentically. He does not seek relationships out of need or fear of being alone, but out of a desire for genuine connection. His time in solitude has taught him to value quality over quantity, depth over superficiality. Solitude, then, is not a void, it is a sanctuary. It is where a man can find peace amid the chaos of life. It is where he can return to himself after giving so much to others. And it is where he can prepare himself to face the world again, stronger, wiser, and more grounded than before. For those in their later years, solitude is a gift that allows us to honor our journey. It is a space to reflect on the legacy we are building and the values we hold dear. It reminds us that we are not defined by our roles or the expectations of others, but by the quiet strength that comes from knowing who we are. Embracing solitude as a teacher is an act of courage and love. It is a way of saying to oneself, I am enough just as I am. The secure man understands this and walks into the quiet not with trepidation, but with gratitude, for in the stillness, he finds not just himself, but the profound beauty of life itself. 5. Dispelling the myths about solitude. Solitude often carries with it a heavy weight of misunderstanding. Society has long told us that to be alone is to be incomplete, that solitude signals something lacking, a gap that needs filling. Yet, for the man who truly understands its value, solitude is neither a weakness nor a burden. It is a strength, a sanctuary, and a space for growth that few are brave enough to embrace. The myth that solitude equals loneliness is one of life's greatest misconceptions. Loneliness is the absence of connection, but solitude is the presence of clarity. A secure man understands this difference deeply. He recognizes that being alone does not mean he is missing something. On the contrary, it means he has found something most people never will: himself. In solitude, there is freedom. Free from the expectations of others, the secure man can think, feel, and exist on his own terms. It is in these quiet moments that he hears the voice of his true self, unclouded by the noise of the world. There is no need to put on a facade, no need to meet anyone's standards but his own. This authenticity is liberating, and it is something that those who fear solitude may never fully understand. Society often glorifies the hustle, the crowd, the appearance of being constantly surrounded by people. But this is not the life of a secure man. He knows that life is not a race to gather as many acquaintances as possible or to be the center of attention. He measures his life not by the number of people who know his name, but by the depth of his character and the integrity of his choices. To dispel the myths about solitude, one must live it, embrace it, and find its beauty. The secure man is not concerned with whether others understand his path. He knows that his solitude is not a void, but a space filled with purpose. It is where he finds peace, where he connects with his inner self, and where he lays the foundation for the life he wants to live. For those in their later years, this understanding becomes even more profound. Solitude offers the opportunity to reflect on a life well lived, to honor the moments that shaped us, and to prepare for the chapters yet to come. The myths about solitude are just that: myths. The truth is that solitude is a rare and powerful gift, one that only a man with true strength and security can fully appreciate. 6. The freedom of self-security. True freedom is not found in wealth, status, or even the opinions of others. It is found in self-security, the quiet confidence of knowing who you are and living in alignment with your values. A man who is secure in himself is a man who is truly free, and this freedom is one of life's greatest treasures. Self-security means that you no longer depend on external validation to feel whole. You are not swayed by the opinions of others, nor do you need their approval to walk your path. For the secure man, this independence is not an act of rebellion, but an act of self-respect. He has taken the time to understand himself, to confront his fears, and to embrace his strengths. This inner work has given him a foundation that cannot be shaken, no matter what the world throws his way. In this freedom, there is peace. The secure man is not burdened by the need to prove himself or to meet someone else's expectations. He knows that his worth is not tied to the size of his social circle or the accolades he has received. It is tied to the kind of life he has chosen to live, a life of purpose, integrity, and authenticity. For older adults, this freedom becomes a beacon of light. It allows you to focus on what truly matters, the relationships that bring you joy, the passions that give you purpose, and the legacy you wish to leave behind. Self-security is a reminder that you are enough, just as you are, and that your life is meaningful simply because it is yours. The freedom of self-security also empowers the secure man to make choices that align with his values. He is not afraid to say no to what doesn't serve him or to walk away from situations that threaten his peace. This discernment is not about avoidance, but about prioritizing what matters most. It is a testament to his strength and his unwavering commitment to living authentically. At its core, self-security is about embracing your own truth. It is about standing tall in the face of life's challenges and knowing that you have the resilience to endure. For the secure man, this freedom is not just a state of being, it is a way of life. It allows him to move through the world with confidence, grace, and an unshakable sense of self. And in this freedom, he finds not only peace, but also a profound and lasting fulfillment. 7. Leaving a legacy of integrity. As the years pass and life's chapters unfold, the idea of legacy grows larger in our minds. It is no longer about what we've achieved or accumulated, but about the essence of who we are and the values we leave behind. For the man who lives with integrity, his legacy is not written in the applause of others, but in the quiet, enduring impact of a life well lived. A legacy of integrity is not something that can be measured in material wealth or public recognition. It is measured in the respect you earn, the lessons you teach, and the example you set. It is found in the memories you leave with those who truly knew you, not in grand gestures, but in the small, consistent ways you lived with honesty, kindness, and purpose. The secure man understands that integrity is the foundation of his legacy. It is the thread that runs through every decision, every relationship, and every moment of his life. Integrity is not about perfection. It is about alignment, aligning your actions with your values, your words with your truth, and your life with the principles that guide you. This kind of consistency builds trust, respect, and a sense of peace that resonates far beyond your years. As we age, we often reflect on the ways we've touched the lives of others. Have we been generous with our time and wisdom? Have we stood firm in our beliefs, even when it was difficult? Have we shown compassion, even when it wasn't convenient? These are the questions that define a man's legacy. And for the man who lives with integrity, the answers to these questions become his greatest pride. Leaving a legacy of integrity also means embracing accountability. It's about owning your mistakes, learning from them, and making amends when necessary. The secure man does not shy away from these moments of growth. He sees them as opportunities to deepen his character and strengthen his resolve. In doing so, he teaches those around him that integrity is not about never falling. It's about always rising with honor. A legacy of integrity doesn't demand attention or applause. It doesn't shout, it whispers. It is seen in the way your children, grandchildren, or those who've known you best speak of you. It is in the way they carry forward the lessons you've imparted, not because you demanded it, but because you lived it so authentically that they couldn't help but be inspired. For older adults, this perspective brings a profound sense of purpose. It reminds us that every moment is an opportunity to shape our legacy, to leave behind not just memories, but a blueprint for what it means to live a good and meaningful life. It's about showing the world, through your actions, that integrity is not just a virtue, but a way of being that enriches everything it touches. The secure man knows that his legacy is not for him to see. It is for those who come after him to feel. It is carried in the kindness he's shown, the wisdom he's shared, and the love he's given without expecting anything in return. His legacy is woven into the lives he's touched, the values he's upheld, and the principles he stood by, even when no one was watching. In the end, a legacy of integrity is the most enduring gift a man can leave. It is not bound by time or circumstance. It is timeless. It speaks to the strength of a life lived authentically, a life that didn't seek to impress, but to inspire. For the man who values integrity, his legacy is his ultimate testament, a quiet, powerful reminder that what truly matters is not how you are remembered by the world, but how you've touched the hearts of those who mattered most. Embracing the strength and beauty of solitude. To my fellow older adults, embrace the power of a small circle, or even no circle at all. Know that your worth isn't measured by the number of people in your life, but by the depth of your character. Find joy in solitude, strength in your own company, and peace in the life you've built. Let go of the need for validation and trust that you are enough just as you are. Because a man who stands alone yet stands strong is a man who has truly lived. And in that strength, in that security, lies a beauty that no one can take away. You've earned this peace. Embrace it. Let it guide you as you continue to walk your path, secure in the knowledge that your life is rich, meaningful, and deeply your own. These lessons are meant to inspire you to live fully and authentically. Now, I'd love to hear from you. Take a moment to reflect and share one thing you've learned and plan to apply in your own life. Let's support each other on this journey toward embracing these truths. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a comment with 1. If not, feel free to comment with 0. Your feedback means a lot to us. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more content like this. Thank you for watching, and here's to living life on your own terms.